The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble. You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First and foremost, he is our intrepid. Oh, wait a minute. Yes. He's our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He's our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
Hi. Oh, not sponsored.
Hello. Indeed. Next, he is our riddle. Inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey.
I agree. Hey. Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
What's up?
Okay. Everyone a bit on the quiet side today. That's okay. My name is Large Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. I'm the loud one. Everybody knew that already, though, right? We knew that. I may not be the angry one, or I'm definitely not the quiet one. I'm not the DC one. So, or I guess Oz is Oz the funny one. I know Oz thinks he's the funny one.
Well,
I'm
I
the.
know who you asked now that we told him he's someone's favorite.
According to you
Oz's
guys, I'm the
favorite
one that's the most right.
Oh, see, look, that's how you know this will be wrong. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great foe. Oh, a great foe. We got a great foe for you today.
Uh-oh.
It's Jay. Jay is today's foe. I know. Look, no. We got a great show for you today because we're going to be talking to you all about the comic, one of the latest from Brian K. Vaughan, Spectators, and we're going to be talking to you all about Star Wars, Tales of the Jedi, and of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about, and we'll tell you how it is. You can get down with Fantastic Forum and let us know that in just a moment. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin. Look, Scott Rubin's a bit under the weather, so get better, good sir, get better. And no, he doesn't. At least not that I know of. He doesn't know. I don't believe so. I think he just has the flu or something. So yeah,
Kung flu.
Oh, you beat
I would
me.
not call it that. No, absolutely not.
Me neither.
Yeah, look, but yeah. So speedy recovery, good sir. And so yeah. With that said, you want to get down Fantastic Forum? Here's how.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
FantasticForum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Thank you, intern. Appreciate your hard work. Gents, it's good to be here with all of you. This is good times. I feel like it's been a minute.
The pleasure's all yours.
Apparently, it's okay. Everybody here right now is just whelmed. It's 100%. Y'all are just we're here. I'm okay. I don't know why I'm the only one that seems excited about this, but
but I gotta match the energy of the room. Otherwise, I'd look like a crazy man.
Oh, I guess that's my issue. I have no issue looking like the crazy one.
Yeah, I'm already paranoid enough as it is. Then I gotta worry about if I'm the crazy one.
Right.
I just finished watching Love and Thunder again for the 7th time.
Is that what you were watching?
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was sitting here what is that fool? What is that? I'm is that celestial head? What is that?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that in Love and Thunder, which, but at the same time,
how was Black Adam?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I said love and thunder, not hatred and despair and revenge.
Right, like that's not like your baseline.
I thought you were gonna say hatred and lightning, but despair. I'm like, oh jeez. Oh man.
I'm excited to see
Yeah.
it. I just haven't been able to see it. I mean, I just tested negative, 2 days ago,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, I gotta save my health for Wakanda Forever.
There it is. Woo. Wakanda forever. Wow, Oz. What's that? What's that?
I haven't heard anything good about it. Like I've seen.
Have you heard bad things about it?
Well, not bad, but like all the reviews I've seen talk about how emotional it is, which tells me that the Chadwick Boseman segment of the movie is what really got people and really hit hard. I didn't hear anything about.
How's that a bad thing?
Huh?
How's that a bad thing?
Because the whole movie is not going to be the funeral.
Your favorite comic books is a spectrum of emotions.
But the whole movie is not going to be the funeral scene.
The whole series of comics that you like is based on a spectrum of emotions personified or executed by color.
Okay. And
Like,
the best of all colors shuns the emotions. Booyah.
Yeah, but they don't have a series for that.
Yeah,
And it's like
no Lantern has a comic.
And it was your favorite series before that existed.
What are we even talking about now? Like we've done so many innuendos. I'm like, I don't even know what book we're talking about at this point.
Like I don't see how that's a bad thing about Wakanda Forever.
I haven't heard anything about it's a good plot. I haven't heard anything about how good this character or that character is. Definitely haven't heard anything about Namor.
Why is it Namor?
Because that's how he pronounces it. I saw a clip, and that's how he calls himself.
Namor.
Call me Namor. And in fact, one of the showrunners said,
No.
"Oh, it's because he was El Niño Sin Amor, Namor." Like she literally said that, and I almost threw something at.
Yeah, that's retarded.
What does that mean?
The kid
child
without
love.
Yeah,
in Spanish.
Oh,
And that's why he's called Namor.
Like one of the producers said that of the movie.
Yeah, she's like a producer or writer or something. Like somebody that would know.
Was it Victoria Alonso?
I don't remember. It was a older lady, short hair.
Was she making a joke though, or was she being serious?
She sounded like she was being serious.
Oh, dude.
Ryan Coogler did say, a clickbait article did say something stupid and attributed it to Ryan Coogler. And I didn't, maybe my reading comprehension is not there, but I didn't see what he said in the title in the article itself. But said something about he didn't want to do Atlantis, the Greco-Roman Atlantis, because that's too close to colonialism. And that pissed me off.
Why?
Because that's before colonialism. Like, to me, anything with colonialism has a cross. So you tell me a pagan myth about a sinking city, to me, I'm fine with that. That ain't colonialism to me.
By the way, you're right. It was Victoria Alonso.
Yeah,
said that.
That's Axel's wife, right?
Yeah. Well, not after that statement.
You would hope.
Axel divorced her because she's like Namor.
Namor.
You got to roll those R's. Okay.
Oh yeah, you got to now.
Jay, you're like not frozen, right? Child, okay. All right, just making sure you're with us, Jay. Like I'm like, Jay's like, man, this show sucks. Jay's like, I hate this show. I'm sorry, Jay. We'll try to be better, okay? Is that all right?
That lip quicker.
Oh man. Okay. Before we get into our topics for today, can we talk a little bit about Marvel Snap? Can we do that? Am I the only
hashtag not
say
sponsored?
What? No. Look, I agree. Look, but I'm just sitting here like, dude, like, I might have to stop playing because
you hate it.
No, I like it too much. Like, it's a thing. I don't want to say I love it, but I may be drawing up papers in order to, make sure that we can be together forever. No, I like it a lot. I do. And I've had the opportunity to talk to Moses about it. I haven't really had the opportunity to talk to either you, Oz, or Jay about how you all have felt about it and in trying it and whatnot. Like only through text messages with Jay, and even then he said even less in the text message than he said on this show today. So
no, I told you how I felt in the car.
Oh yes, we did have that car ride many months ago in the before time. Man, I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time, Jay. It wasn't that long ago, but
it's been a while.
But it's been too long. I agree. Like I'm just like, dude, I'm just happy to have eyes on you. I'm like proof of life. Jay's okay. No, but Jay, what? Yeah, tell the people your thoughts on Marvel Snap.
I don't remember what I said, but it's fine.
Speak from the heart.
You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to look. You don't have to say what you told me. You can just say how you feel today. That's okay. Like
literally, you could just make
tell the truth.
up. Yeah, you could just make something up.
I need you to just, and also too, like you got to be a little less enthusiastic about it because you're gonna be that crazy person Mo was talking about.
They're gonna think you're sponsored.
Right.
It's a little too simple, which I guess is a pro and a con. I would prefer to be playing like Magic the Gathering, but it's not available on my phone. So, I play Snap. It's generally fast. I'm not that good at it. So I keep getting stuck and losing levels. But it's fine.
That's fair. I don't know, Jay. I'm not sure. Like the way you're describing it to me does not make it sound like it's fine to me. It makes it like, in fact, I actually have just torn up that whole the papers I were getting drawn up. I've just torn them up because I'm like, wait a minute, trying to trap me.
You're gonna put it in the shit pile with Wakanda Forever now after you heard that stuff about it.
Right, exactly. Everything I was excited about now from Marvel obviously is trash. Like obviously, it's like. Yeah, but Jay, have you played Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest?
I think I did, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Like I think I had the same issues with that I did with the Marvel Puzzle Quest, which is just it goes too fast.
Gotcha.
Like I can't really tell what's happening. Like a normal Puzzle Quest, you see what's happening. But they sped it up for those games for some reason.
Have you tried Hearthstone?
I have. I enjoy Hearthstone. It kills my phone, which is why I haven't been playing lately. But when I was playing, I was really enjoying Hearthstone.
Yeah, because it feels like that's a good sweet spot between quick and simple and full-on Magic.
Yeah, it's very good. Like, yeah, just like you said, it's the sweet spot. Like, it's pretty simple, cool powers. Like, there's some strategy there. It's not Magic, but it's still really good.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've never played Hearthstone. Oh, go ahead, Mo.
Oh yeah, you should probably try Warhammer Tactics. That's kind of like that too. It's not like the card game type, but it is kind of like your little. You still have the grid and the moving, and it is a little more sped up than your average Warhammer game, and it has like a story, so it has more like a video game feel to it too, and it moves pretty quick. And it seems like my phone, it seems to be pretty light on it. Like it's not too hard on it. Hard on, but it's it's definitely like that sweet spot thing too. Like it feels like you're playing Warhammer. You're just not spending your whole day on it. You know?
Is
You know,
is Warhammer a mobile game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Warhammer
Okay.
Tactic, or it's not Tactic. It's let me see here. It's Tacticus.
Okay, that is different.
Yeah.
I heard that Henry Cavill is really, really, really into Warhammer.
Yeah.
Like,
he
I didn't
paints
know
some
that about
figures and
him.
all that.
Yeah, he used to be fat, so yeah, he's into all that.
Wait a minute. Don't say it like that.
No,
No,
it's actually
true.
it's actually funny.
I'm not.
I've heard him talk about it in interviews. Like they ask him about painting the figurines, and he talks about them. And then they're like, "And what do you do with the figures once you paint them?" He's like, "You put them in the little army and fight other people." And like everybody's looking at him like, "What?" And like, it's Henry Cavill, but he's got like that nerdy like reluctance. Like, yeah, you put them together and you fight someone else with them.
Like he only looks like he does now, but he said like every time they asked him about The Witcher, Superman, shit like that, and he's like, did you like all this nerdy stuff back when you were a kid? He goes, yeah, I was a fat kid. I loved all that.
There's another interview where they ask him what version of Witcher he played, what console, and he had like this look of disgust in his face. PC, like, like that's when I knew. Okay, all right. I'm not a PC gamer, but somebody that gets this
He
like
killed
that,
Larry.
you know,
His laugh was so hard it knocked him off the stream. Jay, what do you feel is the hardest thing, the barrier for you to get into Snap a little more? Is it really just the speed?
No, it's I don't know. Like, and like I said, it's not bad. It's just like I'm not out there on my like. I don't come home and play Snap. Like I play it if I'm on the bus, maybe, or like a couple rounds here or there.
Okay,
but I don't know. I don't know. It's just like, it's hard to describe. I'm only into it so much.
That's fair.
There's a Magic the Gathering that's I from what I can gather, I haven't tried it yet, but I think it's a little more like Snap, and it might be a sweet spot thing too. Magic the Gathering Arena.
That has no single player campaign. It's actually Magic the Gathering full, but electronic. You could play against people.
Yeah.
It's basically just you get a deck, you earn cards, win, and play against people. It's exactly like Magic.
Okay.
Which I love. Like, I don't talk about it a lot, but I love Magic the Gathering, and I don't play it nearly as much as I would like to.
I think none of us really talk about it enough.
I agree.
Right.
Like, no, look, because we had a blast when we played that one time at Ted's place.
The one time.
The one time. Really, we had a really good time, though.
Yeah.
Like, and we could technically do that. Well, I guess not anymore because Oz is away. We have to but when we're all together, we could do that whenever we want. But, we'd obviously to actually include Oz, we'd have to have a special moment for that. Because these days, normally when we see Oz is during Comic-Con, and we're not going to necessarily take the time to play a Magic game during Comic-Con. We're not those nerds.
Yeah, we could play over Discord.
Huh?
We could play over Discord.
Well, what we are going to play this year at Comic-Con is going to be this thing right here. This,
I thought he was going to reach down in his pants.
Boss Monster? Yeah, we should definitely play that. Because Boss Monster is definitely it's a bit quicker, and we can literally play that over drinks. You can't do that with Magic the Gathering. Well, that's not true. You can drink and play Magic.
I've been very drunk at some Magic tournaments.
Yeah, but I feel like with Boss Monster, your game will decline, but not to some when I beat you in Magic, Oz, I can't have you say it's because you're drunk.
Well, that'll never happen. Never has happened.
See,
never
look at
will
this
happen.
guy. Look at this guy, son of a bitch. Right. See, look. Anyway, Oz, what do you think of Marvel Snap?
I agree a lot with Jay. It's way super simple.
It says bring out your beasts.
I thought it said breath when I read it too.
Nice. It's a Craig of the Creek reference.
It's a game I get, I can play a couple.
I love how you try to get a rise out of Jay for like 45 minutes and heck does.
Hey man, those Craig of the Creek references. We all know how Hecht is the funniest member of Fantastic Four. We all know that. I'm sorry, Oz. Continue. You're saying you feel like Jay that you can like take it or leave it. Is that what you're saying? Or
it's super simple. I can play a couple matches on the toilet, and based on my level, I go to the toilet a lot. I'm just it's so simple. I'm surprised that so many people are so bad at it. I've lost maybe three or four matches, and most of them is because I get a handful of rocks.
Yeah, I hear that.
But as you raise rank, you start seeing a little more challenge.
You think so, but I'm still getting people dropping a Hulk on the last turn. I'm like, I was already winning that by 20. What the hell is the Hulk going to do?
Right.
I've won more matches dropping 3s and 4s on the last round than anything huge. And so
that's kind of a testament to the game too, like where strategy goes a long way than just brute force too. Well, like there's different ways of
the game, but the people playing it are still dropping Hulks in the last turn for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that was my beginner experience. I think you're probably playing against a lot of beginners. Eventually, you stop seeing the Hulk.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Hulk in a while.
It's interesting.
What level of player I am?
So there's a level that's to like your bottom right hand side where there's like a medal, and you're like bronze, silver,
iron
gold.
18. Am I still a beginner?
No, you're like beginner close to intermediate.
Wait, you said, is it iron? Is it bronze and iron, or is it silver?
No, I think bronze and iron. Let me see here.
Oh, okay.
It's
okay, so it's all metals.
Recruit, agent, iron, and I'm iron 18, and then bronze is 20.
Yeah. So I promise you, like you'll start if you get out of iron and you get into gold, you'll definitely. Not even getting to gold. You get to the top part of iron, and you start dealing with a lot more competitive.
I feel like everything from 27 to 35, which I think is like gold, bronze, maybe. You kind of like, I spent the whole week fluctuating from 27 to 34. Like, I'd be on a good run, then I'd be on like a losing streak. Yeah. And then I was like, then I had to like actually not play for a day and just concentrate on building my decks.
Right.
Right. After a few losses, your strategy just doesn't work for whatever reason. Maybe a new location or different location or whatever, and you have to use a slightly different deck. Like I could just mix in 3 different cards, and then I'm back moving up to the 30s.
Oh, real quick caveat. I have seen the Hulk with the Gamma Lab. But that's something different.
Yeah, that
I agree.
It turns them into and a lot of cowards in this game too. Like a
lot of people retreating.
Look, I hit snap turn 1.
Yeah.
Like, bring it. Show me what you got. Let's see. Put it on the table, take out the ruler. And a lot of people retreat like by the 3rd round sometimes.
I rather skip turns, like even if I can't do anything make the difference on the last round or last few rounds. I rather just skip the turn than retreat. I ain't going on no pussy ass shit like that.
I only retreat tactically in the sense that where I'm like, dude, I think I am beat. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense for me to lose all these cubes, especially because, like, you know, here's the thing. I didn't know at the end of the month long, like, season or whatever, because, you know, this first month was like the symbiote. What was it? Symbiote.
Yeah, symbiote.
Symbiote. What was it? It was. I don't remember. I felt like I had alliteration.
It's over, so it doesn't matter.
Right, but the symbiote event was the whole month, the opening month, and you know, so I'm ranking up. I'm trying to I'm on the cusp of cracking 50. I couldn't do it because people were better, you know, and it's like I was going down, going up, going down, going up. Like I was right there. I thought I was gonna do it. And somebody okie doked me, and I was like, son of a bitch. And then at the end of the season, when the month changed over, they put everybody back to the bottom rank. I was like, oh no! I was like, I didn't know that was going to happen. I was like, wow. So I got to climb this rank again over the course of a month, and I got to and apparently, I was thinking oh, okay, there's bronze and iron, then gold, and then after that, I was like, oh, it's probably platinum or something, and which I think there is platinum next, but apparently there's maybe 2 ranks above that, and I'm like, Jesus, wait a minute. I was like, who's getting these ranks? Where, what is the gameplay at that level? Because apparently I'm not good enough for that. I can't, there's an infinite rank. I didn't know that. I was until talking to people and doing research stuff, and I'm just like, what in the world? Infinite rank? Dude, I'm not ready. I know that. But I'm I'm hoping to crack gold this month. I mean, well, yeah, or not gold, but get out of gold into platinum. Get basically level 50. And I'm just like, dude, you should play Oz, because if you get out of those ranks, especially what you're doing too is you might be snapping too early. You want to.
Never too early.
Yeah,
it's all in, or it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Oz.
If you think you're that good, bring it. I snap before the cards are even out there.
Yeah, I'm with Oz on that. That's I think the retreat option should be eliminated.
You are hilarious. First of all, I'm not telling you you're snapping too early because it's you should not snap. What I'm saying is, it's like poker. You have to coax your person in to make the call. You know what I'm saying? If they're oh, snap right from the jump. Yeah, half the people are going to be shook and they're going to retreat. And you're but you don't even get anything for that. You get back the 1 cube you wagered. What you want to do is let them.
That's what I get.
No, but you want to rank up. So what I'm saying is,
nah, I want to be the best.
But you're not going to be the best because you're not going to ever play the best because all you do is get 1 cube. Well, this is what I'm saying. Let 1 round go by. Let them feel oh, they might be doing something, and then press your advantage before they realize that you have one. When you know that, oh, well, and look, I get it. You got them from the beginning. I get that, especially early on. What I'm saying to you is let them think that they might have a chance. Then you snap, and then they'll play, and then at least you'll get 2 cubes out of it. Nah. If you're lucky, you'll get some.
This is what I know from my years of card playing experience.
Okay.
Be the best. You got to beat the best. You got a style. You got a profile. You got to strut your stuff. And I'm sitting here I want to be the very best, no one ever was. It's my real test, and training them is my cause.
Right.
I will travel across the internet, searching far and wide. Teach snap players to understand the power that's inside.
Yeah, all while taking a shit, by the way.
Right.
That's true.
Choose you.
My power.
I had a bit of an upset, and it was, the strategy was there. I got my deck going. This was after, I'm on a winning streak after modifying my deck a little bit. and then the shit just happened. The little wild card element to the game that just switched it up. And I posted that in the chat. That's the link. Don't think it's spam. It's to our I posted it on TikTok because it fits for that. And
right,
you can watch that. It's a short little video. And then I've been posting some of my games on there too, and our YouTube shorts. If you follow us on any of those platforms, you'll see those. But I think Larry, you have a game coming up, a video on it coming up too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I just basically was like kind of talking through my thought process in regards to like what I'm playing and why I'm playing it, and you know, just so for people to kind of get a little bit into the headspace of somebody that's been playing the game. And it's like, you know, I say in the video where it's like, I'm not an aficionado by any means, you know, but, you know, for people that are beginning, you can get an idea of what it is that the thought process behind somebody that's been playing the game for a few weeks now. And, you know, for people that are better, it's like, you know, look, school me. Let me know what I could have done better, what I should have done instead of what I did end up doing. I won. At least I think I won in that game.
I do wish there was an option to have a friends list so I can play against you guys.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys might be doing something that I totally missed or vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. Like we could help each other out.
I
100%.
play in between clients on the downtime. I could easily play like, you know, those little achievements for like, play 50 games. Like I can do that in a 15-minute downtime.
You can easily be the 4 horsemen of the snap.
No, 100%. And
I'll be
I think that like, oh,
what? What's wrong with Chris?
It's funny because he's dead.
Yeah, but he was a rabid Wolverine.
He was, but
I mean, Dean Malenko's a better tactician, but you know, I don't know.
I feel like it should be Jay then, right?
Which one?
Malenko.
Dean Malenko.
Jay's the silent tactician.
Yeah.
Jay has nothing to say about that. He gives a lot of approval.
He's like, can I be Sting?
It's been too long since I don't remember the or I remember the name. Like I remember there was a group. I don't remember exactly who was in it.
I literally only remember 2 of them, and I just used their name.
You don't remember Ric Flair?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I always see him as the lone wolf, though.
That's and then Arn Anderson.
I don't remember Arn Anderson. Yeah.
But what I can definitely tell you is that, you know, having talked to the people that I know that are playing the game, I do agree that the game is simple conceptually. I do feel like there's definitely a fair amount of strategy that can go into what cards you pick and why, and how you use the different locations to your advantage. Heck says, damn, dropping Dean Malenko on a Wednesday night. Snap. I agree. There it is. Oh, snap.
Dean Malenko was one of the few that I forgot.
Yeah.
So I was like surprised. Oh shit, Mo dropping some knowledge.
But before we move on, I just want to say that what I love about
this game.
Say what?
We're not
no. I wish they would let us sponsor them because Lord knows, like.
Look, I wish we just read the scripts that the developers did on their little video thing.
I take that video every time. I guess
those guys, right? They're not good on camera. Like
no, they're not.
They're not because they're good at making the game. But you know, look, hire me. I'll be that guy and talk to the camera.
Hey, me and you, Mo, we can do it.
Yeah, we should recreate that video, Larry, and send it to him.
Let's do it. I love it. Let's go. But here's what I'm saying is what I love about the game, honestly, is that as a huge like Marvel fanboy, I feel like the developers did a great job of bringing the characteristics of the characters into card form with the abilities and all that kind of stuff. The art, like I feel like, you know, like the way that the cards get represented and how they like reflect different characteristics of the characters that they embody is awesome. Between that and the locations, I really like it.
Wait, is that Uncle Ben card real, or is that like a joke?
But it should be.
I wish it was.
That Uncle Ben card should be. It's so good. Basically, we're talking about. I read it, or somebody on Reddit put a card up that says Uncle.
Our Instagram has had that for 3 weeks already.
Okay, so you can see it on our Instagram, and it's a card that basically.
I saw it on our Discord.
Yeah,
there it is. So you got to go to our Discord. That'll link you to our Instagram. And if we have anything else to tell you, you might find it on Reddit, but don't worry about it. You can just find it with fantasticforum.live. You know, but either way, the card is Uncle Ben, and in Marvel Snap, some of the cards, if you destroy them, things happen. And basically, it just says if you destroy when the Uncle Ben card is destroyed, Spider-Man shows up, which is pretty awesome if you know Spider-Man's origin. You know,
and then you can have an Aunt May variant with
MCU Aunt May.
Yeah, I saw a Colleen Wing card for the first time.
I have never seen that.
Yeah, I saw that, and it's a basic little like thing. It does have a little bit of power, like on reveal thing, if I remember correctly. But I want a Captain Universe card.
I don't know if they have one, but I'm sure it's coming. Like the game is very popular.
But I want it to be like, okay, when this card shows up, it gets destroyed, and it's like, you know, Captain Universe, and then a baby shows up with the Captain Universe costume and saves his parents. That's what I wanted to.
Okay, like so when I mean, it's not that deep, right? That's basically what Winter Soldier does, right? Or what Bucky does, right?
Yeah. When Bucky gets destroyed, Winter Soldier comes out.
Dude, which is amazing. That I'm just saying, and there's a thing where if you know the comic lore, like you're just like, that's great.
It could be like it could show up to your weakest card, like it'll bond to your weakest card, kind of like the Hulkbuster, but it'll boost up your weakest card. You know what I mean?
Oh, the Captain Universe.
Yeah,
that's great.
Cool. Yeah,
that would be super cool.
So it's like I get a squirrel from Squirrel Girl, and the squirrel becomes Captain Universe. That
would be pretty cool.
27 power.
Yeah. Wait, Uncle Ben has 2 power?
That's not
Uncle.
That's the same.
I know. Jay's like, F that.
He's Quicksilver.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, Uncle Ben is as strong as Iron Fist.
Be like if your opponent has any villain or whatever, he automatically dies or gets destroyed.
Who, Uncle Ben?
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, man. But I just love that aspect of things. And like, there's so many like cards when I see them for the first time, I was just like, wow, like that is like perfect representation for that character. And that's so cool, you know? And the funny thing is, I love that, you know, they have like the different groups, they have like synergies or whatever. Like, just for instance, like all the Guardians of the Galaxy basically all have on reveal kind of stuff if your opponent played a card in that area, in that location. So no matter what Guardian you have, they all like do various versions of like, if a card played, they get something special, you know? And I'm just like, that's pretty cool. And it's so wild because it's like, you know, me being an X-Men fan, one of the first things I was like, dude, as soon as I get enough cards, I'm gonna make an X-Men deck. And I'm sitting here like, you know, I made my X-Men deck and my X-Men deck is terrible. But and I'm just like, damn, like none of these X-Men powers, like none of these joints synergize, right? But at the same time, even that is kind of like in theme with the X-Men, because they're like a lot of different people with unique abilities. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're not they don't all have the same power or do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like that kind of makes sense. So I can't even be mad at it, even though I will say, huh?
They should have given Cyclops an ability.
That's exactly what I was about to say. They should have given Cyclops an ability, and I'm thinking like, my buddy Raymond, he said the ability they should have given Cyclops is basically like the ability they gave Juggernaut. Like Juggernaut, when you play Juggernaut, whatever cards that got played in that turn get like scattered to other locations, and I'm like, they probably should have done that for Cyclops, but he was saying they should have done that for Cyclops, but maybe with just like one card, So it's like not all the cards that got
Cyclops' ability should be if your opponent plays Wolverine, he loses power.
No, please.
Look, you start him off super strong, like Lizard. Lizard starts off strong, but if your opponent does a certain thing, he gets weakened. That's Cyclops.
Right. No, I disagree. Like, I feel like Cyclops maybe even should have had like some sort of like ricochet kind of ability or something. Like maybe he like knocks your opponent over one location or something like that.
Yeah, like it pushes him back to the left one spot or something. Because they had that with like who was it?
Iron Fist.
Heimdall. Like Heimdall just moves everything left.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Iron Fist does that too with the next card you play gets pushed.
Yeah, it's just funny.
And you're right. Like,
as he punches them.
Right. Yeah, dude.
Punches your teammate to another land.
Dude, it's very cool. Like I just feel like I was shocked by how well the whole team like did their thing in regards to like encapsulating what makes each of these characters pretty cool. So I'm just like, yeah, man, I like it a lot. And as a fan of Marvel, I'm just like, dude, like I'm enjoying it thoroughly. And like honestly, the fact that I can play games that quick is pretty awesome.
Dude, why are you spamming?
So, it's not spamming. That's actually like
that.
We're gone. We're gone. You can't even see us anymore.
Virus.
It's actually my deck code for the deck that
so what the cards. In
the last 5 days, I haven't had to change my deck.
Oh, I see you have a Hulk also.
Yeah, I know you gotta have that. That just in case, just to seal the win. But yeah, I don't even know if that code is gonna work because I meant to hit space and it just posted it. So anyway, Fantastic Forum Live. I'll put the link up there.
There you go.
WordPress for all.
Look at that. Heck says, my antivirus is going nuts. Hilarity.
Like we have 4 different posts of gibberish in our chat now. Like you posted your whatever thing.
I'll remove it. I can remove it. I'm gonna block user. Put user.
Block us. It's like stop spamming.
Stop
spamming. I love it. It's okay.
Whatever account that is.
Look, Fantastic Forum finding new and creative ways to be mad buggy.
Who actually works?
I'm sorry.
Before we leave the topic of games, Tiger Claw earlier hit us up. He wanted to know if anyone got Sonic Frontiers. I haven't yet, but I plan on getting it this weekend.
I'm not planning to at all. Mm-hmm. I'm busy with Gotham Knights, and I got Ragnarok coming.
We all had our bar mitzvahs already.
Wait, what?
Well, I had a quinceañera.
I'm sure it's a good game, but I'm not sure, but it just seemed a little. Like, even the cover art, I'm like, man, that's a kiddie game. Like,
I'm not sure what kind of game that is.
I mean, it's Sonic. It's
it is. Yeah, it's just weird after buying like Elden Ring. You gotta
get out that mode, man. You're gonna miss out on some good games like that. But I will say that I was actually really.
I did pre-order Octopath Traveler 2.
That's good.
with the little statues.
Oh, that's cool. So you got like the collector's edition.
Yeah, best $200 best $200 I've ever spent. But I
was actually
allegedly.
I was actually really
staring at him.
I was really excited for Sonic Frontiers, and then it just seemed like as people were playing it, they're like, I don't know about this game. And then as it actually ended up releasing, people like feel differently about it now. So I kind of have like a wait and see kind of mentality on it, because it's like it seems like here's what I can say pretty categorically. It's probably the best 3D Sonic game, but that's a low bar to clear. So it's kind of like, so I'm a wait.
I know Tiger Claw got it. What did he think?
You can tell us what you think, Tiger Claw. We would love to hear.
I saw
Tiger Claw, you can call in, Tiger Claw. Like, go to fantasticforum.live and hit call in.
Let's not get crazy.
But yeah,
no, listen, y'all don't want to hear Tiger Claw's thoughts on Sonic Frontiers? He's like, hey guys,
I do miss
I would love to hear that.
I do miss his voice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would love to hear Tiger Claw's thought on Sonic Frontier.
He hasn't played it yet because he's working.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No. Moving right along. I was gonna seg into the next segment.
Yeah. What do y'all want to talk about first? You want to talk about Spectators, or you want to talk about Tales of the Jedi? Don't everyone answer at once, please. Look, calm down, you sons of bitches. You're like, I can't hear anybody talk when you all talk at once.
Spectators has dicks, so I think we should do that.
I called it. I know Tiger Claw.
You did. You did call it. All right, let's do some comic book reviews then.
Yeah. Let me play this music real quick.
Comic book
review.
Comic book
like
review.
Well, not like that, but like.
Indeed, comic book reviews, or I don't know. I mean, this might be a preview technically. I don't know, because is this book out or is it done? I'm not even sure. Mo, can you help us? What's the deal with Brian K. Vaughn's Substack?
So yeah, it's the page is called Exploding Giraffe, and it basically he's just working on this comic there. I signed up not too long ago. I didn't realize he was just talking shit in my email inbox. So I'm like, yeah, I would love Brian K. Vaughan talking shit in my email inbox. And all of a sudden I just get, here's the first 100 pages of Spectators, or first 91 pages of Spectators if you want to read it. So I guess that's his like way of he's working on a comic and he's getting the pages in and he's giving them to you more or less as he gets them. And yeah, I don't know if it's going to be printed or whatever, but you subscribe to his Substack, that's what you get. Substack is a weird platform because you can't really see. Like, I can go to Substack.com and see what I like I would a Kickstarter when it comes to these paywall type things. But yeah, it does feel like what OnlyFans would be for a comic.
It does.
It's really just you pay for their content and you just see whoever you pay for and they're in charge of giving you the link. Like, it doesn't look. The Substack website isn't really conducive to exploring and finding new things. It's really just with connecting with people that you follow on social media, and I love it. I love that. Like, I paid for a year of Scott Snyder's, and it was cool. I mean, he didn't make anything, but he gave us a writing class. Yeah. But I'm over here like Brian K. Vaughan actually made something,
You're right.
And it's unlike anything you're gonna read from any comic book publisher, you know. And I follow I've paid his website where you can just pay what you want for it. Was it paper comics or whatever? Panel Syndicate. Like he kind of did that model that Substack is doing, but he did it on his own, and he's made some comics there, and I paid for those too, in the past. But this one it's a little different than what I've seen there on Panel Syndicate, and it's on Substack. But yeah, it's basically the story of a lady that gets killed in a mass shooter event, and she realizes there's a whole different world of dead people, and they just watch history go by as they just chill out and do it, and that's why they're called the Spectators, because they just watch other people live, and yeah,
that's pretty much the long and the short of
kind
it
of
right there.
story, kind of I like a grounded ghost story in this sense. Like it's weird.
Jay, did you all get to check out Spectators?
Mm-hmm.
No, okay. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oz. I understand though. Like, you're out here working, doing your thing too, so I get it. But
he doesn't like independent comics either. So
yeah.
Brian K. Vaughan.
You don't like Brian K. Vaughan?
Look, this is what he's doing instead of Saga.
No, Saga's coming
happening.
Out. Yeah,
I'm not reading that either. But
yeah.
Okay, so listen, I'm just saying, like,
I had to
what,
say
I'm trying to figure out, like, what you read from Brian K. Vaughan that you're like,
I just
that
didn't
was terrible.
I just didn't know. He's actually really good. Yeah, I wish I could read his stuff.
Right. Look, all you have to do is stop watching Stargirl, and then you can read all the Brian K. Vaughan you want.
Now that it's canceled, I might.
Yeah, the head of Discovery made sure he could read Brian K. Vaughan.
Like, so crazy. We won't have time to get to that today, probably, but in the shows to come, we could talk more about just Discovery WB or whatever. But anyway, Jay, what do you think of Spectators?
I thought it was okay.
Expound, Jay. Expound.
Jay, how about this, Jay? Make me think it's okay.
I mean, you like titties, right?
Yeah, so that's automatically fantastic. So bring down titties a couple notches.
Bring down.
Yeah.
I feel like Jay is like the friggin' low key like strip club promoter. You like titties, right? Just get in this car, and they're gonna be like, "Well, damn, the way he said it was like so low key and so true. I guess we gotta get it."
But also that gusto
in this limo,
like that gusto is like that could be dog titties.
Dog titties.
Like that, I need a little. Yeah, if you're not gonna be enthusiastic, convince me that this comic is just okay, Jay. Please.
Jay's like, titties has enough enthusiasm for all of us.
but really, like, if you love titties, then this comic should be amazing. But he said it's just okay. Yeah, so show me how a comic full of titties is just okay.
It focuses on what its title is, spectating.
Mm-hmm.
Your main character, she's pretty cool. Like, she's a pervert. And
but yeah.
No,
go ahead. Sorry.
I agree, man. Like, why is he so judgy?
I mean, that's not a story for on the air. Why judge her? In any case, yeah, she's a pervert, and we follow her from the present to the future, and there's some cool colors or lack of colors for the travel, and she's just kind of looking at people and following them around. Yeah. And there are questions I have.
Like,
Like,
what's your biggest question?
can the spectators, like, how far can they interact with each other?
Mm,
Because they can't interact with the world, like, that's established.
mm-hmm.
But can they interact with each other? They don't actually mention it. And I
Right.
assume, like, at some point, yeah, I don't like, like you saw the scene in oh, what's that show we all love?
Seinfeld.
Dude, I fucking hate Seinfeld.
And
Doom
this is why you
Patrol,
have tenure.
In Doom
Oh,
Patrol.
Doom Patrol, yeah.
where there are
Ghost
ghosts
sex.
there, but they're not watching everyone else. They're out there busy fucking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm kind of wondering why the spectators aren't fucking, especially the pervert girl.
Yeah.
Like,
She can masturbate. We know that. So she could probably,
Right.
yeah. Maybe
I
that's
was
can she
suspecting.
not take off her clothes? Like, we don't
I
know
don't
because
I
some
don't think she
people
can.
have clothes and some people don't.
Right.
So I guess if she can't take off her clothes, then that would mean she can't have sex. But then there's like a lot of naked people. Like, I guess sex will get boring after like hundreds of years,
I
where
don't
you
think
wouldn't have it all the time. So I can see why they're watching like cage fights. But
Why not both?
Yeah, listen. Here's my whole thing.
That cage fight almost did have both, didn't it?
I do believe 100%, Jay, that your question is super on point. It's a question I had as well, and based on what I read, I 100% believe they can't interact with each other either. Like if you read the book, and I mean the book, like at least
well, they can
or
speak to each
what?
other.
Yeah, but speaking and touching isn't the same. And
Right.
and so, but I get where you're coming from in the sense that you're like, well, obviously, like speaking is still some sort of interaction, even if it's not like the same as physical touching.
Yeah.
So I like obviously they can hear each other. So you're like, well, why can they hear each other but not necessarily touch each other? But what I will also say is I don't believe in the 90 something pages I read. I don't believe any of the spectators actually did physically contact one another. They like literally
Right.
all like sit next to each other. They float next to one another. Like they don't touch. And I think and I'm not saying that they can't necessarily. What I will say is I 100% feel like that's being set up the way it is, because like in the same way that there's a point in the book where they talk about, oh well, we can't interact with the world. It just can't happen. No one's ever done it. And I feel like you put that out there because somebody is going to do that. you know and
Well,
in
I
the
thought they
same way
put it
how
out
like
there so that people don't ask about it.
I mean, that could be the case, but I kind of feel like, it's like, especially in stories, you set rules.
If it was somebody other than Brian K. Vaughan, then yeah, I can see Jay's point. But I think
Right.
Brian K. Vaughan will put that in there for a reason.
No, yeah. You set rules and then you let somebody break those rules. And then you like, if you have like, enough of the storytelling capacity, you convince your audience why this person is able to break that rule, and it makes sense, or yeah, or it may not. But I do believe that is something that's coming down the pipe, where either they're gonna like one of them is gonna be able to start touching one another, or one of them is gonna start interacting with the world outside. So Yeah. It's a wild book. And you're right. Like it's wild that it shows up. Like I knew, at least for me, I was like, this poor young lady messed around and like died. And I feel like she could have done a little bit more to try to survive. But she died.
Well, like what?
Well, she tried to have a conversation with a lunatic. And instead she could have been trying to like crawl to an exit. Like he knew
I mean,
he knew she was there. Huh?
He was watching her, I thought.
Well, he wasn't watching her. He knew she was there. That's different. Like he don't know where she is. Like if she stay low and crawl, like I'm not saying she would have gotten away. What I'm saying is I feel like I got more respect for somebody that gets shot in the back trying to get out of an exit than somebody that tries to have a conversation with a guy that came into a theater and shot up everybody and was like, "Hey, I'm just trying to appeal to your sympathy." Like sympathy, like you didn't watch what this fool did to everybody else?
Like those people that had the people that took the handicap seat and got killed first. Like, yeah, it's a handicap seat, but yeah.
Oh, you talk about in the theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Look, but either way, I'm just saying, like, why do you feel like you're so special that you're going to convince this guy to let you go? That's crazy. So I'm just like, okay, like you can do that if you want to. I would have had more respect if she rushed the dude. It's not a smart play, but at least you go out like, like I'm trying to fight, as opposed to be like, hey, people depend on me and I got people that love me and, you really don't like my dog. Your dog? You feel like this? I mean, I don't know. I might just be built different. I'm like, if you mess around and belly crawl to the exit and get shot in your back trying to get out that door, I'm like, okay, she was trying to live, in a real way. I'm like, okay. But again, maybe she had more faith in humanity than I do at this point. And that's sad to say because I feel like I used to have a lot more, but maybe I don't anymore.
Oh, you definitely used to have more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I'm at now. Sorry.
To a certain degree, I blame myself. Larry's been spending a lot more time with me. He's like,
Indeed.
yeah. Once the first time, maybe about a year and a half ago, where he's like, yeah, maybe you're all right. I'm like, we're done.
He's done. Down a dark road, my friend. Down a dark path.
There's no coming back.
Yeah.
Overall, I love how I got this comic because I got it for free, and it's just for being a fan of this dude, and it worked
Right.
out. But it is like for being a free comic or a pay-per-view comic or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
comic on demand. I don't know what you call this model at this point because like it really is just kind of like the porn model. You just search it and you find it and you get what you want out of it and then move on. But it is a really well crafted book. The art is really like, I think it's better than if I would have gotten it on paper. Like these pages are just like, I don't even know, like if you print a page, let's see if I can share one here. Share, present, screen, window, or like this one where she's just getting killed. You're watching this chick getting killed, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's so
visceral.
Yeah, and the pages before that, I didn't want to give those because those are really like triggering. Like this one, at least like the character survives in one way or another because otherwise we wouldn't have a comic. But the other ones, like people's heads just chunks fly off, and the gore, like stylized gore, but the gore is still really, really like intense. And Larry, I want to know what you thought of those. Like, I didn't choose this for being a horror comic. I knew it was kind of ghost based. I figured, oh, for Halloween, horror comics, like we can kind of do this. It don't feel like a horror comic or a Halloween comic, but it's a lot gorier than some of these horror comics we reviewed in the past month. How did you handle that gore, Larry?
And I'll tell you, but before I should mention that the artist is Nico Henricon. It's HenRichon. So I don't know if that's how, or it might be Henricon. I don't know how you say it, unfortunately, but just to give you all,
Enricon.
It could be. I don't know. Like I don't know where the person's from. Right. That could be right. Right. But
Canadian.
Huh?
He's Canadian.
There you go. So I guess it's like maybe a French Canadian kind of thing going on. I don't know.
Oh, so it's Henry Kong.
So from the core perspective, it's right, exactly. It's
a what is it? A visceral gore of comedy. Is me going, oh.
It's easier for me to deal with in a comic page. And don't get me wrong, like even in a comic page, it can get me sometimes. But this was like, and here's another sad fact, I guess, is the idea of like a mass shooting. I guess just as an American, I'm somewhat desensitized to, you know what I mean? And it's like, I can't say that I've ever seen that in real life or anything like that. But it's just one of those things where it's like,
yeah, which school was it this week?
Say again?
Like, which school was it this week?
Right. And a mass shooting depicted in comics is like, that feels like, tame in comparison to the idea that I could be hearing about that actually happening in real life in the next like 2 weeks, So it's just like,
but
so watching it.
Score.
Right. And that was a wild part. And that was the other thing I was going to say was, before we got into the tangent of can they touch, can't they touch and all that stuff, it's like, it's wild because this young lady dies. And then the first person that she or person that she meets after she dies is a naked woman like floating out there next to her. And that's a wild.
With one thigh high pantyhose.
I was about to say, right, wearing one pantyhose and her jewelry, and that's it. Which is a wild visual because I'm just like, why? Like, I'm just like, I can't wait till we get to the point where we're at like Spectator annuals where we get the story behind why this woman, like her halfway point, because that's another thing too, where it's like apparently when you die, you like come back at your like halfway point. And it's just like, why is her halfway point like her naked with her jewelry on and one panty, like one fishnet stocking? Like, why? Like, I'm just like, dude, I'm like, that is such an interesting character choice. You know what I mean? Like naked would have been enough for me, where I'm just like, why is she naked? But now that she's naked with one fishnet stocking, like one thigh-high fishnet stocking, I'm just like, someone needs to tell me right now why she only has one fishnet on, because I don't understand.
That's the beauty of Brian. That's the beauty of Brian K. Vaughan's like storytelling ability, like, because like Oz doesn't want to read Brian K. Vaughan, but it's like this is literally like the way she looks into the camera per se.
Mm-hmm.
The comic does its little time jump, and you're just getting to know this person, but not really getting to know that person, just in relation of how she's guiding our main character, and you're like, okay, they're gonna team up together, and we're gonna see this. Like at this point, we had what, like 15 panels of her naked, looking fabulous, you know, and it's like, and then it just technicolors out into the next arc of the comic, and it's like, where is she going? Like, what is her story? Did I catch her name? Yeah,
no, I don't think we did.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, all of it, because like you know, the same, and just the way she, like, because I think if I'm not mistaken, the dialogue is something like, you know, because of how she's talking, our main character, which do we even get the character? We get the main character's name?
I think we might have. I'm
not even sure we do.
Yeah, like I'm just on for
maybe
the ride.
We do.
I'm a spectator myself at this point.
Right. But either way, it doesn't matter. Like maybe it might come later. Like I feel like maybe we don't get in the beginning, but maybe she introduces herself later. I don't know. But either way, it's like it's something along the lines of like the character we're talking about with the one fishnet says something, and it triggers the thought in her mind where she's like, yo, like, how long exactly have you been like in this form doing this?
Yeah, this plane of existence.
Right. And it just fades out, like you were talking about, from that character's face, the one with the fishnet, into the face of the main character. And then next thing you know, we're in what seems like the far future.
Yeah.
Because, you know, because she gets killed in what? In 2022.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're in like future Manhattan, and it's just like, dude, like this joint, and I don't remember if they actually say what the date is. But
they didn't say a date, but they referred to the 2030s like, oh, like that was the 60s. Yeah.
Right, okay. So there you go. So yeah, it's like you know that it's at least pretty far, and just by what you see and how people are traveling and the way they talk, you're just like, okay, now this is definitely much further into the future than where we are now. And I'm just like, man, like this is wild. Like it is an interesting choice to make for a book, because I feel like you said, most people reading a comic would have expected, well, what we're gonna do is take this pair of people, and she's gonna show her the ropes.
Yeah.
And that's not what happens. Like we definitely like do the time jump, and it's like, okay, like man, like we went into a whole different direction. But you're right, that is very indicative of Brian K. Vaughan.
Like I hate time jumps, and then this one just fits the flow of the comic. Like it's not. Like, I know you want to see what the future is going to play out like. This isn't the comic for that, you know. And it's like I this is why I love independent comics, and I chose this too because of the platform Substack, the way it's distributed. Like it's literally like no overhead aside from the artist he has to pay and the letterer, you know. And you can get it, and he's giving it to you, well, to me free. But I'm like, I feel guilty now, and that's the experience I had with Panel Syndicate too, where I had all these stories for free, and I'm like, well, let me just slide you some money when the Powerball hit. Okay, yeah, I'll send you some money, you know, like because it's
Mo was
like,
the winner.
It's good,
low key.
Yeah, I won a whole $8. Yeah, I got the Powerball twice. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, man, like this deserves money, you know. Like, and they haven't even, you know, aside from paying Brian K. Vaughan's like yearly fee, like they haven't given me a model or an option to really pay for it. You know,
there is a lot of nudity in this book.
It's
insane.
And it's all tasteful and gratuitous at the same time.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
the,
HBO needs to take a lesson from this, because it's like sometimes some of those Game of Thrones episodes felt a little gratuitous. Some of those Westworld episodes a little gratuitous. Like I feel like this feels more like closer to like how Westworld was trying to do it than how Game of Thrones was trying to do it. Like Game of Thrones was low-key trying to make softcore porn in some of those episodes.
I want to know what this art style is, because it looks like it's pencil sketches, maybe some charcoal, but then it looks like he goes over it with crayon for the color parts, and that sounds like I'm mocking it, but it's actually really good. It works really, really well.
Yeah, no,
I agree.
This is typical French comic style. This is what you get when you read your Drunas or your Mobius type of comics. And I actually took some more examples to show later when I do my analysis on the art, but I can show you now. Like they definitely do a lot of like real environmental renderings, like architecturally sound renderings, and then do the comic art over them. As if we just all, like, let's say we all leave, or let me change this. Our layout, no, that's not working.
This dude,
Mo's like, make me bigger.
Well, no, our thumbnail, the thumbnail that we did in the background behind us is page from the comic, so I'm trying to show it. And it's really
we just have to.
Yeah, I don't.
You'd have to remove us all from the thing, or you could do it as an overlay if you want to show it.
Yeah, but I didn't upload
what page it is.
Towards the beginning.
It's the one where she's in the theater looking at the screen.
It's like the second page or so. Yeah, but it's just the way, like, every seat fits in that environment. Like it's super smooth and still gritty, but everything is in its right place.
Yeah, and I mean, you're still talking about the theater scene, which is fine. It's still, it's still fine. But I'm talking about when she's at the point that she's dead, and everything is black and white except for her. And,
I have that.
And that's where it really like pops the crayon effect, as I call it, because I don't know what this guy did.
That's the page I took from it, because it's almost like a birthing scene, like she's popping out of the body, and you see all the blood splatter, like, and it's just. There's another page too with the. Let's see, I'll stop sharing this one and share the other one. No invite. Yes,
it's hard to find pages without nudity.
I mean, I actually did take pictures of nudity here, but here's another one. And this kind of accentuates my point. It does have like it does have like the crayon effect, like right here,
Yeah, like that red that's
outline, and then like this part right here, the little like flares, that you see, and you see that throughout the book. But even her, like here, he chooses to not like add super detail, but just enough to like, or it's the character. And then even here, like
100%,
a little penis right here. But it's just, that's just little details. Like that's not your brain. The composition of the whole picture. You see, everybody's flying up into the strata of it, and it's like these are cars. But this shit right here, this shit don't look like no car to nobody.
No,
but
you just know, right?
And that's the beauty of art. Like they manipulate your brain to know what it is. But if that little square wasn't there, if these little squares that are supposed to be cars weren't there, this whole page with all this shit, this dude's penis right here, this naked chick, this guy in a suit, this guy in this weird like Legion of Doom outfit, like none of that hits if you don't do this little fucking
the squiggles,
right of a car, or like this shading in the building right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that this is the European style of doing comics. This is why I would subscribe to heavy metal and read Mobius and Druna and all this shit. Like, yeah, Druna Druna's hot and fucks in every issue, but the art is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And look, like, you all know me. Like, I am the person that will kind of be like, I don't understand why all of a sudden people were naked. You know, like, you know, I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, you know, and it's not like, you know, I don't have any problem with nudity, despite what Jay may say. But but it's just one of those things where it's like, what you said earlier, Mo, where you're like, you know, sometimes some stuff feels gratuitous, like it's nudity for nudity's sake.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, okay, it feels like it's very like there's like an intention to it. And this book feels like there's an intention to the nudity. Like, I'm certain if I cornered Brian K. Vaughan and I was like, hey, why does Home Chick only have the one fishnet stocking? I don't feel like he's gonna be like, oh, I gotta make up a story. Like, Brian K. Vaughan knows exactly why that woman only has one fishnet. Like, he probably has a. Say again?
I'm gonna ask him on Twitter tomorrow morning.
There you go. Listen, I believe that this fool has a backstory for every naked person in this book.
She's a prostitute and she was killed by her John, who had a foot fetish.
None of that. Look, that's too simplistic. Like, the fact that her half-life is where she had the one,
right?
You know, like that. You know, that there's a whole age concept. Like, the John killing her. Like, that's literally like she's maybe died at what, 55,
60.
60? Yeah. And we've all met 60-year-old prostitutes. And
wait, have we? I don't know that I have.
Yeah, you haven't?
No, me neither.
No.
Yeah.
Like, dude, they have the best stories.
They do.
Hey, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't know that I've met a 60-year-old prostitute, and I think we may have, but that's not the conversation we had. But yeah, and that's the same way, like, you know, Home Chick that dies, that's like, you know, the main character of this book. She basically died like in her 40s. So she came back as a version of herself in her 20s. And she was just like, dude, like, it was like, even that whole concept of where she was like, I like literally just got to a point where I really appreciated and loved what I looked like as a person, you know what I'm saying? And now she's dead, and now she has to live out the rest of her life in this version of herself that she was like, this version of me is not my ideal self.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was just an interesting thought, and like, just from a character perspective, where it's just like, we learn instantly that she's unhappy with her afterlife because she's like, I don't want to be this version of me.
Yeah.
She's like, the version of me that I was is the version I enjoyed. Yeah, it's very cool.
That whole thing with her texting the dude, and instead of like speaking her mind and then just double tapping and hitting the thumbs up, it like that was the loudest part of the comic, you know, until the gunshots. But I'm like, man, what is this about? You know, and I'm like, you know, like the fact that the way they drew those panels, that little insecurity in how you reply, and it's like, it put me in a weird spot too, because it's like, you know, I haven't dated since my late 20s, you know, and so I this whole new way of doing things is different to me. It's something I haven't experienced. So I'm like, man, it's almost like that in itself was a horror movie. Like, what if something happened and I have to go back into dealing with that? The idea of being alone in a movie theater by myself is fine. Like, I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
As myself, because, you know, nobody wanted to see Undiscovered Country in my family when I was like 12. So you know, I'm cool with that. But that feeling of like, it's kind of rejection, kind of not, and it's like, should I really speak my mind? and it's like, man, you still feel like you got to silence yourself at like 40.
Right.
Is
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is gonna be a good book just from that. I didn't even know she was in her 40s, but from the way that she was talking and like just her the thought process of going in a theater after a pandemic and picking her seats according to like what direction she's gonna get coughed on is like, man, that feels like me. So I know she's like roughly my age, and I think she's like 42 or something. So it's like it's more like your age, you old ass Larry. Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it. It's true. It's true. So, but yeah. So, okay. Jay, I'm interested. How did you feel about this art?
I liked it. I thought it was good.
The end. I agree. There it is. Take that, Nico. Yeah. Look, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, it was good. Like,
no. Listen, that's why he's gonna smoke it, because it's good stuff.
Jay, what did you like about the art? What stood out about the art style to you the most?
The nudity.
But just nudity for nudity's sake, or anatomical, or design, or a color palette? Like,
no, I just like nudity. I mean, yeah, when she got shot, that was pretty cool too.
Well, when the other people got shot,
apart.
Like, how'd you like the other people getting shot? Because those were a lot gorier than her.
Yeah, but they didn't mean anything because we didn't know them.
Yeah.
Like her, I know Lawrence wasn't happy with the scene, but her just trying to live by talking, it was like, oh man, that's fucked up. She got anyway.
Yeah, I had that.
He was losing still.
I did have that feeling, like it's like her talking added something to her being shot. Larry doesn't see it because he's a filthy psychopath, but us empaths and optimists, really.
Wait, y'all optimists? The three of you? I love it.
There's another scene where I thought the art was really good.
You have it handy?
Yeah, I do. I have it right here. Just give me. I'm gonna share it with you.
Okay.
I'm sharing it. And what's happening is this guy is like, he becomes a spectator and he's like, fuck this noise. And he just rips himself apart and forces himself to go on. And this is like great because it focuses on him. You can't see my mouse, but the focus is on him. But you also have the real people in the background, and he's just like, "Fuck it, I'm out."
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to draw like the perfect visual representation of "fuck it, I'm out," like this is it.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because I feel with that guy, you got a full story in like 2 pages with him.
It's
like
so crazy. 100%.
That's like, that could be its own comic. Like that could be Tales of the Spectators #2.
100%. Right after the fishnet lady, right?
Yeah, and it's just like, man, like how can you? Brian K. Vaughan could do it. It's a full story in 2 pages. Yeah. But even like the relationship with the uncle is like, oh yeah, I've been watching over you, watching me even when I like beat off, like you fucking like.
I have a question about that because he says "herk." Is that actually slang for jerking off? Is that what
in the future? Yeah, because they're further.
I forget.
Like they already had the kaiju wars and everything.
Yeah, I see.
You're hilarious.
No,
wait, but Herk and Jerk, is this something that happened?
Yeah, it's actually slang like now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's not.
It just
Well, it's a little dated, but
yeah.
the Herkinger.
And I feel like it's kind of like a Caucasian thing, right?
No, I mean, well, I mean, maybe not. Like,
It's a
I mean,
country thing.
oh,
Like
okay.
it's an East Coast. Well, not country, but it's an East Coast thing. Like most of the people, like I've heard a bit from a bunch of people from Connecticut.
Okay.
Oh,
Like
Pennsylvania Dutch.
yeah, it's like not exactly New England, but before you get to the South, like in between Upper New England and the South, they use that term.
Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, no, I never.
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I do want to know, just from what I've seen real quick, like these spirits didn't choose to be what they are, and they're not like in whatever, like it's not the afterlife technically.
No, it's not.
And I'm interested in as the image we're seeing now, this dude's just like fuck that and just goes. Like,
Right.
did he escape into whatever the afterlife is, or is he just like gone? You know.
Well,
Tales
the
of the
thing
Spectators
is,
number 4.
they show
sorry.
us people that do move on to the afterlife, and they're blue. So the fact that he's red might mean something.
Well,
Right.
she actually the naked lady with the
One
she
fishnet.
said something. She goes, was it perdition or paradise? Like that's different. Like we're here, you know, and you're gonna move on to that. We don't know about that. We're here, you know. So
Right.
it's almost like a second life, and
Right.
that to me is like, to me it hits because I don't believe in heaven or hell, and personally, and I don't think there's anything beyond this. But that gives it like, okay, it's just the same bullshit again, only with a little more limitations. So it's kind of like a weird sardonic, nihilistic view of an afterlife, even though they still give you the hope of perdition or paradise. And this comic doesn't answer that question still, you know. So it's like, to me, that hits in a weird, cool way, you know.
Speaking of hitting, I did want to ask Lawrence how this story hit you. Like we were talking a few weeks ago about how you would want to be immortal just to see like how things change. Like,
Mhm.
would being a spectator be like still a good thing? Like because you could see how things change, but you wouldn't be able to interact.
Yeah.
So would that be okay, or would that?
No, that's a deal breaker. No, that's a deal breaker for me. Like, if I want to live longer so I can see how the world changes and participate. Now, just watching from, like it in some kind of apparition form, like, that's I don't want to do that. And like, especially considering, like, in my mind, I'm like, who's to say that I can't be in the afterlife, like the actual afterlife, and still see what's going on? Like, if I can be in heaven and still watch what's happening in the world below, quote unquote below, it's like, then I'd rather be in heaven watching as opposed to,
what
like,
if you can't?
Well, then no. Well, I'd rather just be in heaven. If I'm dead. I'm banking on heaven being better than watching the world go by.
I felt like myself ever since maybe from a childhood to a certain point in my childhood to maybe like my early 20s, I was a spectator. Like I didn't feel like
I hear that.
anything, and that was agony, you know. So
Mhm.
so I think
No, I hear you.
yeah, I think like that, just being a spectator myself would be a little frustrating. Although, like this picture I just shared, this kaiju war thing that they have, it's just like 1 or 2 pages as part of the time jump. You know,
Right. But here's the thing: is this even a war?
I don't even know. Like I assume,
Right.
yeah,
But
I assume because there's more than one, so it's like
this is
fucking Evas.
go ahead.
I feel
But
like
I feel like this is 100% indicative of what you were talking about, Mo. Where you're like, this is like the page they show us to be like, oh no, like we did a time jump into the future, and they showed us like the future page, or like maybe like 3 panels before this of like future landscapes, and then they show us the Brooklyn Bridge,
yeah,
with these two like robots or some sort of like whatever, like some sort of platformy, like
I call them dolems myself.
Right. Like we don't know what these things are, and the fact of the matter is, like the way that Nico and Brian have chosen to tell this story, they're like, yeah, we're going to show you this, but guess what? These things, that's not the story we're telling. And it's just like, it's just world building where you're just like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Where you're like, again, we can mess around and go into.
You see that there?
Like,
you see that? That's all saying. I wish I would have read this comic.
Like it was just. It's literally one of those things where it's just like, what are those, and why are they there, friggin' on either side of the Brooklyn Bridge? You know, and it's just like it's amazing stuff, man. I love it. Anyway, we should rate this book and move on. So, Oz, I'll come to you at the end.
Derek H says, Tire Claw would love to live on this page. I think we all would, to a certain degree, as long as my abortion is still okay. Earth is Hell is also what Derek H said earlier when we were talking about Paradise and Perdition.
Right.
Earlier when you we were talking about the gore and the viscera of the mass shooting, the Heck called it, he's like, Larry was sickened. Yeah. And he also said that the handicap seats in the theater are so fucking comfy.
Wait, I just love how Heck just puts that out there, like all the implications that has is like, I love it. I love it.
In Tucson, we don't have that many handicapped people or handicapable people.
Right, because they like shoot them in the street. Is that what we're saying?
Look, I don't know. Depends on depends on who one governor is.
No one knows in Arizona.
This theater was actually one of the good ones. Like where all the seats are comfortable.
Yeah.
Jay, what would you rate Spectators? I mean, even though it's technically not the full book, but what would you rate what you read?
I don't know, maybe like a 5.
Jay, why do you sound so underwhelmed by the perfect score of 5 out of 5?
I don't know. I have questions.
Okay. He's like, listen, I don't know. This book's not quite doing it for me. 5. I love it, Jay. Listen, this is why you're special, and why I feel privileged to be someone that you call a friend. Thank you for that, Jay. Moses Magnum, what would you rate Spectators?
This is a 5, and it's technically a Mo deal too, because all you got to do is sign on to explodinggiraffes.substack.com and you get the first. Not only did I get those 91 pages, I actually got the next, because it ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger, but not really like a story cliffhanger. Just that's where he finished, and he's like, "Oh, guess what? Carlos Pacheco died today. I'm saddened to hear that. Here's 4 pages of next book."
Carlos Pacheco died?
Yeah. It wasn't really confirmed. It was all international news sites. So, but the professionals went with it, and they all did RIP. And yeah, no, it's sad. It's sad. You know, I was gonna do a
What, was he even
obituary.
sick? Did anybody know
No, he was. Yeah, I think was it on maybe Bleeding Cool or CPR? You know, your employer
Damn.
CPR. They did a profile on him. I want to say about 6 months ago because he was going into some treatment. So he released the last few pages of work a few months back, and he's like, after these, I'm not drawing anymore because I just can't.
He had ALS.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
That
that bucket, that
sucks, man.
ice bucket challenge, you know, like didn't do the trick.
That's sad.
Yeah,
Wow.
it sucks, and you know, and that's the thing. Like this book dealing with death, and I brought it up because, you know, the book ended where it did, and then I still got 4 pages as a tribute to Carlos Pacheco, and he's like, you know, working with international artists has been, you know, he did his thing, Brian K. Vaughan, and it gave
Wow.
me 4 more pages. That are still awesome 4 pages, and it still just doesn't answer. It was just more conversation of where we left off, but that
Right.
conversation, like, those 4 pages could be an issue. Like that's the
Yeah.
Halloween special for Spectators. But
Yeah.
yeah, Carlos Pacheco died. I mean, we had Kevin O'Neill earlier in the week. You know, Leslie Jordan. I mean, he played Invisible Man and Resplendent Man on fucking Lois and Clark, and he's been an icon in his own right. You know, and then just us here, we've dealt with death. I think the 4 of us in the last year, a little more than we'd like. So this book was a little cathartic in that sense, reading it, and it just kind of, you know, it doesn't fix it. It doesn't fix the pain, but it lets us, you know, take a swig of our whiskey and keep on going, you know?
Yeah. I would give this book a 5 as well. I liked it a lot. Like, yeah, I like, yeah, I'm sitting here like, how can I figure out a way so I can support this, so I can get more? You know, because it's that good. It's that good. Oz, how would you rate our review of Spectators?
Oh, your review? You don't want that.
How many inches out of 5?
I'll give the book 4. The art was really good. Like I just scanned through it.
You didn't read the book. You can't read the book.
I scanned through it. Like I have it up on my screen.
Scan through it is not reading. Scan through it is scan through it.
If you listen to me, I'm talking about the art, which is a visual thing that I can scan through. While you guys are blah 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 about all
so you can say you like the art, but you can't say that the book's good.
Right. Well, did I say that? I just said
that's what I asked you.
That I saw.
I asked you a question.
Are you questioning Brian K. Vaughan? Do you not think he's talented enough that you know when he puts something out, it's going to be good?
I'm asking you a question. You answering a different one. And I'm saying you're not a politician, so don't do that.
You know what I am.
What do you rate the review? Our review of Spectators.
2.
Thank you, son of a bitch.
Go check it out. I don't know what Substack is, but it's out there.
Exactly. All right, there it is. Fantastic Forum. You love us, or you don't. Look, that'll be our next T-shirt.
You either love us or you love to hate us.
Either or. All right, let's talk about Tales of the Jedi.
No, more about gel coat. When the fourth round, don't you call it?
Does it look good already? Jumbo Scampi for limited.
Damn, so good.
Every time we play
good job, Moses.
I get more upset because of my ongoing feud with Tad Stones.
We're not going to get into that.
Okay.
We're not. I've made an executive decision. We're not going to get into that. But what we can get into, Oz, tell us about Star Wars, Tales of the Jedi. What'd you think?
Yeah, it's a bunch of short stories about Star Wars stuff, about Dooku and what's her name? Ashoka. Whatever. No one cares. It's fine.
Wait, what? Why would you disrespect Ahsoka like that?
Well, isn't her last name Osaka Tano, not Soko? Would you?
What?
What's her What's her full name?
Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you call her Ahsoka Sudoku or something. Whatever.
Why would we do that?
It's fine. It's what? It's 6 or 7 episodes, short stories. It's all 20 minutes. Half of them are boring as hell. I only liked like 2, maybe 3 of them.
Which 2 did you like, or 3?
2. I like the Dooku with a young Qui-Gon and the senator's kid. I liked the one with Yaddle.
Yeah.
And I think there was another one that was one that featured Ahsoka. I kind of watched them like back to back to back. Like I just let it keep playing. So they kind of run together a little bit. But
Yeah, but
remember those 2 specifically, I kind of liked.
And
I know there was another one that I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, you know.
Okay. Jay, how'd you feel about Star Wars Tales of the Jedi?
I like the Dooku stories. I like the Ahsoka stories. Some of the time skips I got confused by, but I was really tired when I watched it.
Okay.
And yeah, like it was really good. And they're short. And Yaddle is kind of dumb.
Why is Yaddle dumb?
Like she's running away from 2 people that want her dead. And so she's hurt. So she opens the door and then rolls towards the people that want to hurt her instead of away.
That's what we call in Marvel Snap. That's the snap. Like she's gambling. She's gambling. I mean, she could feel that Dooku can still be talk to the light side a little bit and do the right thing, and she rather save him than save herself. But you know that's the reason why she's the one Jedi Council member that didn't survive, because the other Jedi Council members didn't give a fuck about Dooku doing this thing.
See, here's the part that blows me away with this is Jay will mess around and call Yaddle dumb for rolling in and trying to appeal to Count Dooku's like better graces as a Jedi.
She already crushed her with the door at that point. Like,
well,
that's when you gotta retreat. And like you can try to like reason with them again, but you have to like recover first.
But
you can't just get smashed by a door and then roll in like, hey, I'm dying now. Now will you help me? Like,
well, you know how Yoda says stuff backwards? She does stuff backwards. That's why she talks normal.
Conversely, Jay was like, what did you want Home Chick to do other than like try to talk to the gunman? You know what I'm saying? Like this was slaughtered an entire not an entire theater because the theater
here's the thing.
But he slaughtered like half a dozen people before he got to her. And then somehow it makes sense for her to be like, hey, I have a dog and a niece. Just not even a mom Like, but I got a niece, and that makes
Here's
sense.
the thing. If he had shot her and she rolled back in, like if she was on her way out and he had shot her and then she came back in the theater, like that would be dumb. Like she tried to talk the same way Yaddle tried to talk. And then after Yaddle tried to talk, she got smashed at the door. Like you get what you tried talking and it didn't work. Now, Yaddle was able to survive it not working, and the other chick wasn't. So
that's a fair point.
In fact, realistically, when she ghosted, she ran from the theater and called for help. Like that's what Yaddle should have done. She should have ran for it. She came back in. It's like when she was a ghost, she didn't go back into the theater. Like she left. And that's what Yaddle should have done. She should have left. And yeah, maybe she would have been okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I think they were on like a cliff face, but
yeah. And that's the whole point where I feel like Yaddle had nowhere to go but in, because I think out is like certain death. But I don't know.
Not for a Jedi.
A Jedi that like she was pretty messed up. So I don't know. But you could be right.
And the thing is, like Dooku is still on the fence still. Like, and that's part of what I love about this series right now, because Dooku has always been interesting to me, because he was being played. He was a Sith that was being played by the Emperor too. You know, and you watch him getting played across these two movies and even some cartoons, and it's like, man, like, and this dude, like, his political ideology, like, he's essentially like a gray Jedi without being a gray Jedi. Like, he's trying to figure out, like, I don't like the way the Empire is coming or the Republic is going is not what I like as a landowner, as a count. You know, my rights are being usurped as just my privilege is being taken away. I don't see how that's fair for me. And then you're still doing it to poor people on these planets, and the CIA is in on it here. You know, and so it's like the Jedi Council's not doing the right thing to convince him to join their side, and the corporate side is not. And it's like it's beautiful. It's like this is like it. I never thought that the prime rib of a Star Wars universe would be 3 fucking 10-minute cartoons. And I say 10 minutes because those credits are still like 6-7 minutes. and like, and for Dooku, like Dooku has always been fascinating for me for that, because he is the little bit that we did see in, you know, the what I call the good part of the second J.J. Abrams movie that is not really J.J. Abrams, but that one, what is it, the Last Jedi? When you start seeing like the warmongering and everything, war profiteering in the Star Wars universe, like that is a concept I like, and it's a nuanced way of doing things. And with Dooku is like that's where that story like is the good shit, and they really like they pulled it off in these 3 vignettes. I can't even call them short films because they're so short. They're almost like the Genndy Star Wars Clone Wars things. You know,
no, it definitely feels like a 3D version of those in a lot of ways, which is not a bad thing. It's just what it is.
And it feels like I used to read the Dark Horse Tales of the Jedi comics, so it feels like that too. And look, I the whole time I kept telling, like, I was supposed to just watch like 2 episodes on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, and then like the rest today. And I told Emily, I'm like, man, fuck Disney, because I can't stop watching these. Like they're good. Even the Ahsoka ones were the lesser of the good ones. I really like the Dooku ones a lot. But but the Ahsoka one was still good. Like seeing like the elder like see, oh, she's a Jedi, because you know the earliest thing is like she dominated a lower life form. and survived a fucking saber-tooth tiger attack. You know,
It's called animal friendship.
in an exaggerated way.
It is called animal friendship.
Yeah.
It's true.
Now I remember which episode of hers I like. The one where she keeps getting shot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking episode. Like, I'm over here like like, you know those memes where the guy's like yelling at a girl at a baseball game and the girl's just like bored? Like, I actually enacted that with Emily because I'm like, she's using the wrong lightsaber form. Like, she needs to use this form because she's using it as an offense, but she's getting attacked on every side. And then when she brings the 2, which is how she's known for, and it's like, yeah, that form is a different type of form, and it's more like boxing where you have one that's the defensive lightsaber and one that's the offensive, and it shows in the stance. And I'm like, that's it. This is the Kali Eskrima, the Kempo, the almost even like the Shogun type of lightsaber fighting. Like, this is it. This is how she's gonna survive. And then she did it. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm like, yeah. And then Emily's like, sit down. Yeah.
I liked it because I like the point that Anakin was making, because she gets shot and she's like, dude, these guys are way tougher than the droids I've been practicing with.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is what you're gonna actually deal with. The droids are like nothing.
And that's the thing. Like, one of my clients that he like, I love the dude. He's a cool dude. Half the time he's talking about these comic book movies and these Star Wars stuff, and you don't know, like he's throwing shit out there, like, oh yeah, but it's like he quoted it from a listicle, you know what I mean? But with this one, like, he's really into Clone Wars, the show, and the Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus, and he's like, you know what? This kind of added a weird thing, because now watching it, like, I feel like Anakin kind of knew what was gonna happen, more or less, but because of his attachment to her, he wanted to, like, he cared about her still, which is his downfall. That's what puts him in the dark side, but it helped Ahsoka, you know. And I'm like, man, that episode even got, like, it was cool to begin with. It got better after this. Nick told me about it, you know.
No, 100%. Where it like, I mean, the end of that episode literally leads into one of the final episodes of the latest season of Clone Wars. And it's just like, it's very cool, like, how they do that, where it's just like, okay, so, you know, it's almost like Dave Filoni being like, there's a reason why Ahsoka Tano was able to survive that onslaught of things that was going on. Like, it's not like, this isn't, you know, just a random occurrence or whatever. So it's just like, it's very cool, man. And just watching Dave Filoni do what he does in the Star Wars universe is always a cool thing.
Yeah. And it goes to my point, like, Dave Filoni on his own and Jon Favreau on his own is not the same. Like,
right.
Dave Filoni's better, you know, and then together they're great. But definitely, like, Dave Filoni is like, he's an architect. Like, he's like up there with like your Bendis, your Hickmans, you know, for Star Wars, you know.
I will say that, you know, I feel like it is a common kind of thought process where people are like, the Count Dooku episodes I enjoyed more so. The Ahsoka Tano episodes I enjoyed a little less. And obviously, I feel like that a part of that is just like, I think Ahsoka Tano people, or generally speaking, I think people like Ahsoka Tano as a character. At the same time, they might be experiencing a little bit of oversaturation, just because. You don't think so, Jay?
Well, I was saying, for me personally, I would like more Ahsoka Tano.
Really? Okay, well, I mean, but it's coming, though. Like, you want more than what we're about to get?
I mean, we haven't gotten it yet.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, there was, like, for instance, you got Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian, right?
Did I finish The Mandalorian? I think so.
I don't know.
Maybe.
That was Mandalorian, or was that Boba? That was Mandalorian, right?
In both. She came out in both.
She was in Boba Fett too?
Yeah.
Sort of. She's in the Grogu training montage.
When the
when
Mandalorian goes,
visit. Right.
When
So
it
you get
becomes the Mandalorian again.
Well,
okay. So
hold on, real quick. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5.
oh, are you leaving?
like 7 minutes left. Yeah.
Got you, Jay. Appreciate you. Look, say goodbye to the people, Jay.
No time.
I'm mad that he bought himself time by saying no time. Like, he
right. I was like, never gonna say goodbye to the people in the same sentence. So he said no time. He's like no time. 5 out of 5 for Jay. But what I'm saying is, like, we get Ahsoka Tano in both the Mandalorian. We got Ahsoka Tano in Boba Fett. We got Ahsoka Tano in the final season of Clone Wars. And I'm not knocking this, like, because personally, I think Ahsoka Tano is a great character, and it's so crazy to watch like that whole, like, the evolution of people being like coming around to this character. Because I remember people hating her when she first showed up, but the fact is, it's like she had, she's carved out a spot for herself in the Star Wars lore, and that's because she's Dave Filoni's baby. Right? And so we got the series coming, and we get more of her in this Tales of the Jedi. And so it's just one of these things where it's like, it makes sense to me that people are more enamored with the Count Dooku like stuff, because we don't know a lot about Count Dooku. And so now we're here, like, we have 6 episodes, and like half of them are Count Dooku and the other half are Ahsoka Tano. And people are like, yeah, I like Count Dooku more because we want to know more about this character, but we don't have a lot of stuff to go by up until this point. So,
and we say,
like,
we say there's 6 episodes, but I think it's important to point out that they are sequential. Jay mentioned time jumps, but it's all sequential. Like, you could make a movie out of this. The first episode is baby Ahsoka, and then the next episode is Dooku and a young Qui-Gon. And then later on, you get to Qui-Gon saying, hey, I fought a Sith. And then you get to Qui-Gon's death. Same thing.
So they're all linear, like they all follow in the timeline.
Yeah, you didn't
regards to. I mean, honestly, I didn't.
Same with Ahsoka. You got baby Ahsoka. Then the next time you see her,
I
think it's
it makes sense.
And then adult. I was just telling Lawrence about the story is actually like, you could watch it as a movie because it is sequential. Time jumps, but the time jumps are forward. There's no like, hey, this one's 30 years before, and then this one's whatever.
And when you read like a Tales of the Jedi comic from back in the day, that's kind of how it was. Like, now they did it month to month, not within the season, but it would be like you'd get kind of like a heavy metal magazine. Like, you'll get this chapter of a story, and then the next chapter next month. Even though there's still one story, you would get it across 3 or 4 months, and yeah, that it really, like, it could have been 2 episodes of like 2 like how they did the Man Thing one. Like, you could have just done an Ahsoka one and then a Dooku one, like not the Man Thing, the Werewolf by Night. Like, but it's doing it in this little anthology way. It's cool because you can, again, like, kind of like how we were talking about Snap, like the brevity of it allows for consumption at a different point. Like, you don't have to sit and watch it on your couch. You could be waiting at the DMV and watch a couple episodes and then continue after. Like, it's a little more piecemeal type of content. And I think that in streaming that helps. I mean, YouTube is successful because of that. Nobody will pay for YouTube, but it's just the little brief content like that is good. Like, in contrast to everything else, like, they'll give you Andor, where it's like every episode of Andor is like a movie, and then you got this too, like, and then now you're getting like 3 Star Wars things in a year,
Yeah. I will say that the only thing for me that if I was going to have a criticism for Tales of the Jedi, there was a point where, and this might be, partially my own fault, where I was thinking that Tales of the Jedi was going to be about multiple Jedi, which technically it is, because you have tales about Ahsoka and Dooku, but I thought it was going to be more Jedi than just those two. I knew that those two were in it because of the promo stuff. I didn't realize it was going to be only them for the most part. Even though technically you get like a little bit of young Qui-Gon, you get a little bit of like young Mace Windu, you get some Yaddle, which is all stuff that we haven't experienced prior to this. Yeah. But the focus is, of course, Ahsoka and Dooku, and so I thought it was going to be more than that. And while I can't knock any of the stories that I did actually end up seeing in this, I guess first season or whatnot, I would enjoy seeing additional Jedi in the future, because there's a lot of Jedi that have stories that haven't been fleshed out yet. And so, or at least I should say, haven't been fleshed out in what is considered the new canon. Because obviously there's a lot of comics out there, a lot of novels out there. But even when you're talking about, when you talk about novels, most of the novels center around particular characters that aren't necessarily the ones that we would be focusing on in this new canon. And then comic book wise, we've done a lot of different Jedi, but who knows what is and isn't canon again in this whole new era of things. So I would love to see some of those people.
I would too, but again, doing it in a comic form is easier than doing it, because I compare it to the comic, because it has the same branding as the comic. Like that title card is what the comic cover had. So
I agree.
Can't not compare it. And putting those out monthly, dude. Tales of the Jedi #9 with a Darth Vader, it's amazing. Like it's the one where Palpatine makes him fight Darth Maul, but it's like a construct of Darth Maul that he made, not the one you get in like a resurrected version, but not the one you get in Clone Wars. It's before that, and he's like, or I guess after that, and Vader has to fight him, and Darth Maul gets on his back, and Vader just gets his lightsaber and just puts it and he just tells the witches that brought him back, because he turns on the lightsaber on his own torso and he goes through himself and kills fucking Darth Maul, and he's like, how could you win that? There's so much hate in the room. Like, what could you possibly hate to really overcome this challenge? And he goes, I hate myself. And that's the last page. I'm like, fucking Vader is the shit. That's almost it's almost like that panel that Mike Deodato drew, where he's like, oh, Vader, you're surrounded. No, I'm surrounded by fear and death.
Right. Exactly.
And dead men. Like, that panel was almost as cool as that one.
Yeah. There it is. All right. Let's rate Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. Oz, what would you rate it?
I didn't have to pay anything for it, so 4.5.
Okay.
It's mostly good. Couple episodes I was but it's free. Whatever. Watch it. You already got this. Go watch it.
Right. What about you, Moses?
From what we got was a 5 out of 5, but what it could have been, give me 12 episodes and 2 more Jedis. I'm
not mad at that at all.
Like, that would push it into a 6 or a 5 out of 5. But what we get is a 5 worthy show. Again, the Dooku really saved it. Like how you said, Ahsoka. I love Ahsoka. I love seeing her everywhere, and I can see more. The thing is, I don't get sick of these Jedis, but I want to the other Jedi too. You know, like I
Right.
want a Plo Koon story, a Adigalia story, like all.
Yeah.
Like, if you just give me a retrospective of like the origin of the Jedi Council, like everybody on that Jedi Council, like I'm in.
Yeah.
That's 30 episodes. Like
Yeah.
I'll pay Disney Plus for that.
There you go. There you go.
So,
And here,
so yeah, so it could have been better. It's still 5 worthy, but I'll give it a 4. Yeah.
got you. And what I'll say is this: is here's the thing where I think not only is part of why the Dooku episodes resonate, part of it is because, like, yeah, we don't know a lot about Count Dooku, and we want to know more about him as a Jedi. But the other part of it is, like you said, it's him kind of like walking that line as a gray Jedi, and then eventually turning to the dark side.
Yeah.
And so, which as a Sith, and that's something we have even less of. Like, like when you're talking about like the history of Sith, it's like, from a TV movie perspective, you don't get a lot of that at all outside of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And like this might be the only other thing we can really talk about from a TV movie perspective in regards to Sith. And I think that that's another reason why the Dooku stuff resonates with people, because it's like that's like a thing that we don't get to, like, unless you read the novels, unless you're reading the comics, you don't get, or playing some of the video games, you don't get any of that. And so that's why I feel like, like this Acolyte joint is probably going to be something that resonates with people, because for a lot of folks, it's going to be like their first in-depth kind of character study into what it's like for someone that is like really deep into the dark side.
Yeah.
And just even the taste of that in this Star Wars Tales of the Jedi with Dooku is like resonating with people as well, where they're like, yeah, let's see more of this. And so, yeah, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. And I'm only taking that half a point away because, yeah, like I'm not even going to be like, make it 12 episodes. You're going to give me 9 episodes and put another Jedi in there. And that would have been interesting to me, whether you're talking about Mace Windu or Yoda, or it could have been like freaking Plo Koon. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else. You know what I mean? So yeah.
The voice for Dooku I didn't enjoy. It was a little it was a little too Alan Rickman, not Christopher Lee. Yeah.
I hear that.
But other than that, like it was good. I loved like the Cypher Diaz moment where he accesses the archive for the Camino and all that, like, because that's something that was touched on, and it's like they're talking about something I should have seen. Like I remember seeing that as as a young man, and being like, man, like I want to see that, and then they showed me that. So
right, no, I agree.
That's another moment where Emily's like, sit down, stop, don't stand on the couch.
She's like, relax, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
All right. But no, I agree. It was great. And it just one of those things where it's like Dave Filoni feels the same way you felt. And that's why he made that.
Yeah. I remember like we're off topic now, but because we rated it. I forgot Emily wanted to watch Morbius, and then she's like, no, I'm not gonna watch it because then you're gonna say on the show that you watched it because of me.
That's funny. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. She's like, nah. She's like, you're gonna have to be the one to initiate the Morbius one.
And I'm like, oh, put it on. And then like, no, because then you're gonna blame me for watching it.
Hilarious. She's like, I'm not your fault guy anymore.
Watching it?
Huh?
Did she end up watching it like without you?
Not that I know of. I hope so. Like that would be funny as fuck. Like if she just waited till I wasn't home to watch it, like that'd be awesome.
It'd be funnier if she enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, she'll watch anything like that's vampires. Like she likes it, and she'll give it a shot. Even though
I wouldn't say this is vampires.
again, like I haven't seen it. I don't know. She would give it a shot. She's less she's discriminating, but she's less hateful discriminating than I am. So she'll watch it and say it's shit and be okay with it being shit. But me, I'm a little too tied to Morbius and a little too tied to that lore that it's just not going to be a good experience. Like
right,
I don't think she would even want to watch it next.
New segment, Emily reviews.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that, but she don't.
Like, it's only like a word, like it's shit. Or
no. She does thoughtful analysis on things. Like when she actually likes things, like she's really
nobody's saying that we don't believe Emily's capable of a deep dive into why something is good or bad. We're just saying that
is you put a camera in front of her and
right.
it's gonna be it's shit.
No, and it's funnier. Yeah, it's funnier if she just gives the one word answer.
The worst thing is my brother, man. My brother Oscar, not this Oscar, the other, Larry.
I got you, brother.
Yeah. Like this motherfucker has a hard opinion on everything. You put a mic on this motherfucker's face, and all of a sudden he's bashful.
Oscars are very hard people.
Yeah, like this motherfucker. Like we literally talked heavy metal and reviewed. Not like we went to see Merciful Fate. We had an in-depth review of the venue, like the sound system in the venue. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's record this. And then he's like, oh yeah, I liked it. I'm like, you piece of
shit. Yeah. Right, exactly.
You gotta hit him, damn him.
Well, you gotta change up.
Yeah, I do. I gotta like hoover him,
Right.
It's at the shop. Yeah, I have a microphone you can like click on and just.
No, we were in the parking lot. I was drunk, he was high, and then I was high too, and then he still fucking clammed up.
So I was drunk. He was high. I was high too.
I can't wait.
That's funny.
A fraction of.
All right. Woo! All right. Listen, it's time for us to get out of here. We've done our due diligence. We got a tight 219 coming. So so let's do some final thoughts. All right. Oscar, give me some final thoughts, buddy.
I'm sad that Stargirl has been canceled. This season's actually been pretty decent. And looking forward to watching the new Titans that just came out like 2 weeks ago. It's back. You guys probably didn't know or care, but it's back.
I saw that it's back.
I knew it was back too.
The thumbnail looks good, but the thumbnail, like I don't know. I'm still catching up on Doom Patrol, and I've heard good things of Stargirl myself from my clients. Like they're like, "Man, Stargirl, you're on that Stargirl." I'm like, "No." It's like, really? What do you hate about it? I'm like, well, the little kid Dr. Midnight with the hands. Like I can't get like I like why is it that big? Like I like Dr. Midnight. Like I like the JSA.
Yeah. There it is.
She looks so bad in that costume, and it's worse because real Dr. Midnight at some point actually shows up, and it's like, you keep it, you keep the costume, and just walks away.
He almost looks as bad as that Dick Grayson trying to be a detective in that first season of fucking Titan.
Oh yeah, first season was
bad.
Like he's like he's wearing his dad's suit.
Yeah. Most Magnum, final thoughts.
Again, R.I.P. Leslie Jordan, R.I.P. Carlos Pacheco, Kevin O'Neill. Like we're losing the greats, and that's like it feels like it's all happening. No, we're just getting older, and the older you get, the more people you know they're gonna die, and they're not gonna stop dying, and then eventually you'll die. So just enjoy life, and if you can stop somebody from suffering, do that, and if you can end your own suffering in the process, do that too.
Amen. That's a sunshine moment from Moses Magnum.
Yeah, that's as bright as my sunshine gets.
For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate you. Keep listening. Keep telling us what it is that you like about the show, what it is you don't like. If there's something you want us to talk about specifically, just let us know. because we'll do it. I mean, really, we will. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you again once again so much. We appreciate you. We're the Fantastic Forum. Have a good night.
Like, subscribe, and all that stuff.
All that